Hey guys.
Howdy.
What's up and welcome back or to the Roomies Digest. My name's Christine.
I'm Monique.
And today we're doing our February wrap up.
Wrapping it up. I had nothing.
Okay.
I thought a song was coming to me. I was like, ooh.
Wrapping it up like a little Christmas package. Exactly. We don't have anything. So that's the joke. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Bum, bum,
Da 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 da.
bum, bum.
Da.
Okay, so to start things off for our February wrap up, let's go ahead and just talk about the things that we've done vlogs for throughout the month. So first and foremost, there is a NetGalley vlog that just came out. If you guys are interested in that, it's going to be linked up in the cards. But I basically talked about Love Decoded by Jennifer Yen, Sundial by Katrina Ward, Blood Scion, and I have this problem in the vlog. I can never remember the one book. All That's Left in the World. I'm gonna pop it up so y'all will know obviously what the books are, but if you're interested in that vlog, go ahead and click the link. The other book that I read for last month was A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and that is for the book of the month reading vlog, and that was a fun
Time.
It was a fun time. Also have Love and Other Disasters in that vlog. If you're interested in watching that book of the month vlog, it's gonna be linked up in the cards.
We also did a group simultaneous buddy read live on Lala Loves Lit's channel, which will be down below.
Yeah.
So pretty much we're doing this like cringy buddy read thing. It's something we decided to do last month and we're just keeping it going. But we read Den of Vipers and I think we could both say it was a miss.
Yeah, it was definitely. I'd never read this book again. I'm gonna unhaul it immediately.
Yeah. But so I don't know if you want to watch our thoughts, fully, but all of them are on stream on Jéla's channel.
Right.
But yeah, it's safe to say I don't recommend.
Yeah. Do not recommend.
Unless you're intrigued by the idea.
Yeah, so this is who we would recommend it for. If you don't care about the writing style and you're like, all right, if the writing's whatever, the plot's whatever, then and you just kind of want to like experience the rough kind of like position this main character is in, then this might be the book for you. There's definitely knife play, blood, graphic crimes. They definitely are. What is it? What are the people called?
Mafia? Oh, loan sharks.
Undeaded. They undeaded themselves or unalived themselves. There you go.
Oh.
I was pulling out of my archives. Definitely some unaliveness in this book.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if that is your cup of tea, then this is the book for you. But I think as far as me and Monique go, I think we both gave it like a 2 stars.
Yeah, because I had a fun time reading it with my friends.
Right.
Roasting it together.
And there are some funny parts. Like some parts in this book made me LOL.
And but overall it was a miss for me. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it was a miss.
Yeah.
The other book that we ended up reading together last month was Good Girl Complex, which we read for the Sugar and Spice Book Club. We have a whole book club talk on Ginger Snapped Reads channel, Amanda's channel. So if you guys are interested in this book and our full thoughts on that, you can go ahead and click the link up in the cards. Yes. I think overall we ended up rating it like
a 3.5.
Yeah, 3.54 for me. Because it was a fun time, a girl going back to a small college town and basically being a boss.
Yeah, I think everyone agreed that the ending was a little rushed.
Right.
But I think there's another book in this kind of like world that L. Kennedy made that follows another character in this book. So I think, maybe we'll get some more closure
in that book.
Yeah. But that one's coming out in the fall. So
Right. If
you enjoyed that, look for that.
Then finally, the last book that we kind of read together for book club was Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. And that, of course, is for Movie Night Book Club, which is the book club that Monique and I host together, where we basically read the book and then stream the movie at the end of the month. And
see if there's any differences, what was done better or for worse. So.
Yeah. And this was a great book to start off with. Like, I really, this book is nothing like the films.
Well, it's nothing like
2049, Blade Runner 2049.
Which is what the chat voted for. So
right.
went with that.
Right.
I mean, there's some similarities, but yeah, so.
There are similar concepts. And it was an okay time. I think I gave it like a 4.
I don't even think I
3.5?
actually rated this book. So let me
4.
think. I think I'm going to give it a 4.
I think I'm giving it a 4 too, because I did like the world.
It's very original.
Right.
It just kind of, you know, you can tell that, you know, it just kind of ended.
Yeah, it just ended abruptly.
I didn't realize I had a thing about endings, but I feel like if you don't know where you want to take something, like, you know, I don't know, maybe I just didn't think of it as philosophical as I should have.
And it was for sure philosophical. Yeah. Like, it made you think about things. There were some really good quotes in this book, but overall, like, cohesively, did the plot make sense? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think the movie did a really good job of taking the concepts and making it into something.
Yeah.
Which is great. So yeah, we had a lot of fun reading that. If you guys are interested in joining our Fable Book Club, the link is going to be down below. You can read our next book, which is going to be No Exit, in March with us. And yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch the movie at the end of the month.
It'll be a lot of fun. I'm super excited.
On to things that we read. I did a couple of other buddy reads this month. First up, I read a book today. A whole book. In one day. Actually, this was a close time. I had to really put the brakes on reading this one because I was enjoying it so much. It's Trouble with Hating You. Oh, it is.
That's the name of the book, you crazy. You psycho.
Wow.
Am I a reader?
Do I remember titles? Trouble with Hating You by Sajdi Patel. I read her sequel, her follow-up to this book, First Love Take 2, and I loved it so much that I went and put this immediately on my wish list. Anyway, so
I just love the colors in this book too.
So I buddy read this with Melanie, and we had a great time. Like, at one point I was literally like on speed 100, because I was like, she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna read it like 10 chapters a week, and I was like, yeah, of course, I can so handle that pace, you know. And then, like, as soon as a dude you want to read this? Okay.
Start of the show.
As soon as, you know, people start falling for each other, I'm a goner.
It's a wrap.
It really is. Like, I hit a chapter and I was like, yeah, I'm on chapter 27. I don't know. It was like a random number. She's like, oh my gosh. So
I'm done with the book.
Yeah. So I'm telling y'all, if y'all like a fun hate to love, this is the one to start with. I'm really liking her books a lot.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It is technically a fade to black. There's a lot of tension, but like nothing is really shown. But it's still, the tension is fun. So I wouldn't, you know, not pick it up because of that. But it's not, you know, very, very spicy.
Would you end up rating it?
5 stars.
5 stars.
Love this book.
Okay, cool. And I'll go ahead and talk about my 5-star romance that I read last month, which was Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese. This, of course, is part of the Bergman Brothers series, which I have bought all of the books for. I'm so excited. I really love the second book in the series, which features an autistic main character. And this one, I mean, like, what can I say? It's just as good as the other book that I read. Like, it's 5 stars. It's a hate to love, you know, grumpy sunshine situation. And in this book, it does feature our main character that is late deafness. So he lost his hearing at around 17 and is kind of dealing with that as, you know, a late teens, early 20s adult. So as you can imagine, that's like really hard, and it's just so great, this romance. It was such a good time. I highly recommend if you guys are romance readers, like 5 stars all around. And I just like love their back and forth, because the thing with hate to love, and the reason why I think I like it, is because the bickering to me, like, you can kind of see past it and be like, oh, you guys like each other. Like, the reason you're making fun of each other is because you're 5-year-olds, and that's like what people do when they like each other.
I was like, okay.
You can make fun of them all you want, but you know you love them,
right?
Okay? So anyway, it's a 5-star read for me. Highly recommend. And I can't wait to get into the next book, which features the sister in the Bergman, like, family, like the oldest sister. And it's just going to be so much fun. So I had a really fun time. This was great. I binged this. I read it so quick.
All right. I also had another buddy read for romance. It's called Shipped by Angie Hockman. I was reading this with Rachel. I don't know if Rachel finished the book. I think I mentioned it once. Like, I was like on this page, and she said, oh my god. And I just kind of finished it. Sorry, Rachel. tell me all your thoughts. I'm still buddy reading. I'm the worst to buddy read with. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get better, but pretty much this is like the unhoneymooners meets the hating game. They have to go, these two people are trying to go for the same job position, and they have to go on a cruise ship and make up a marketing prospect and figure out, you know, the best way to market the cruise lines. And they obviously, it's like hate to love, but is it really? I didn't realize I read a bunch of hate to love this month.
It's because it's the best.
It's not, but it hit me in the feels. This was really fun. I enjoyed this more, not more than the hating game, but I liked the ending more because it gave us more
closure.
Resolve, you know, resolution, and that I appreciate. So because of that, I'm giving it a 4.5.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rachel, I ended up reading this book from our kind of like little game that we play in our TBR because I had to read a book from Rachel, something that she sent me. So she did send me The Power a long time ago. And essentially this book follows an alternate reality where women have the power. And the power is basically like controlling electricity. It is kind of like a skin that they wear that they're born with and kind of gets awoken at a certain point in their lives. And they can essentially, you know, shock people and kill them or like control their brainwaves or do whatever. There's lots of things that can happen with this power, but it basically tips the scales so that, you know, as we live in a patriarchal system, men are generally physically stronger than women, and so in this, it kind of tips the scales. I ended up rating this a 3.5 stars. I can appreciate kind of the premise of the book and what Naomi was trying to do with it. I really liked the beginning and the end, and obviously I'm not going to spoil it for you guys if you guys want to read this book, so I won't like get into too much of that, but it basically just kind of was like a gender flip situation, and everything that's kind of wrong with the world now, everything that we as women kind of have to go through every day, just kind of like the oppression and, you know, these like snidey kind of remarks where, you know, men kind of diminish our opinion. Those kind of things were very prominent, but instead of it being men on women, it was women on men. And I just don't really want to see that. Like, I can appreciate that Naomi was trying to point these things out, but to me, I feel like a lot of men aren't really going to read this book. So basically it's just like pointing out these things for women, but women already go through it every day. So why do we need it pointed out in a book, in an alternate reality? I don't know. It was all right. I liked the historical references, but like I said, I just wasn't a huge fan of the gender flip situation. We don't need to know that men were in power and then make women in power and then do them everything like men do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to see that oppression. I don't want to see them abuse other people. I don't want to see sexual assault. I don't want to see that. So I didn't really like it, but I can appreciate it for what it is, and I wasn't actively hating it, so that's why it's at a 3.5, because I did want to see how it resolved. It just wasn't like, I think I am gonna put it back. Actually, let me put it down to a 2.5. I just talked myself into that because I did actively hate it. So it is a 2.5. Okay, so
you didn't enjoy this book.
Right, it was a little bit less than a mediocre time.
Because why?
There we go.
Flip it if it's gonna be the same.
Yeah, I mean, like, why flip it if we already know everything? You know, like, I think if it was maybe written in a way that like men would actually read it so they could understand our perspective, then maybe it would have like served a little more. But I'm not saying like men will never read this book, but like it felt to me like this was written for women, and like women already know what we have to go through. So anyway, 2.5 on this book. Rachel, love you, but wasn't my fave. And that's on that. I also read The Night Diary last month because I wanted to kind of read like a middle grade book before middle grade March. I know that doesn't make sense, but I wanted to have like at least one good rec for middle grade March. And basically this just follows 12-year-old Nisha, who is moving from her like home to a different location because this is set in like 1947. So India is being separated into like India and Pakistan because of the the like religious differences between Muslims and Hindu. Yeah, I mean, it's basically just the 12-year-old perspective of this like huge moment in history and her writing in this diary about like what's happening. The way that she writes this book is letters to her mom who passed away when she was younger. And y'all, it's just so good. Like, so this was just such a good book. I loved all the history that was wrapped in there. It wasn't too heavy, as you can imagine, because it's supposed to be middle grade. Gave enough detail that you knew what was happening, but also could feel kind of like the feelings of Nisha and like what she's going through as a 12-year-old. So I don't know, I really like this book. It's a very short read, and I ended up actually annotating it because I was like, this is so good. There's so many good quotes in here. And it's based off of the author's father's experience, because this actually like happened to him when he was younger. So I thought that was really great too. But yeah, highly recommend if you're into like a historical fiction middle grade book. This 5-star read is for you.
I also read a middle grade book. It's called Marry the Night Brothers. It's a little something, you know. It's by B.B. Alston, and this was such a fun time. So I buddy read this with Kira. This was 5 stars, y'all. Everyone knew it. I knew it going in, but I wasn't sure, you know. I was like, you know, I don't know how I'm gonna enjoy this, and I don't even know why I was trying to fool myself. It pretty much follows Amari, and her brother has gone missing, and people are just saying, like, you know, he's probably was doing, like, you know, criminal activity. That's why he didn't tell you what you were doing, like, doing for work, telling the family what he was doing for work. And she does not believe that. And then she gets invited into this magical school camp. Lives by herself and learns about what the world is. And, you know, and she's also looking for her brother. And it's just really good. And it was well done. I recommend everyone should read it. 5 stars. And the sequel is coming out soon, I think. I don't actually know the dates, but if someone knows, tell us down below.
Yeah, let us know. Monique was telling me about this book last night, and I'm not sure if she's conveying how excited she is about this book, but this was the first time in a long time that I had seen her excited about a book. And she was like telling me about it. She's like, this book was so good. It was about this girl who goes to a camp and there's like magic, and it was like the setting. And also it was like kind of like low-key better than Harry Potter. So, and I definitely think you should read it. Middle grade, 5-star. And I was like, this is the fastest I've ever heard you talk.
It was so good, y'all. I don't know how to explain it. It was just
I mean, you don't have to explain. Just read it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Trust the people, okay?
Trust it. Okay, so the last 2 books that I got for the month, I actually did a buddy read as well. The Library of Legends by Janie Chang with Bon Bon Reads, Miss Nicolee. She actually gifted me this a while ago, and basically this just follows, it's a historical fiction fantasy. I'm realizing I'm reading a lot of those recently. Basically just follows this school in China that has to move more inland with the Library of Legends, which is just this huge library of legends that are like their culture, like just stories about China and kind of, you know, folk tales and things like that. And as they kind of like move more inland because they're being bombed by Japan, these kind of like magical things start happening, and it kind of like awakens the land almost. I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. It was an all right time, but it was heavy historical, light fantasy. And I think with a historical fiction fantasy, having a 50-50 is like very important, because why are we even going to call it a fantasy if there's not even a little bit of fantasy in there? So I liked it. It was fine, but it definitely was sold as like more of a fantasy, like more magical than it is. It's heavy historical fiction, and that's fine if that's what you like. It's not my favorite genre, obviously, but I did learn a lot from this book. I think it is a little bit misleading too, because it's called the Library of Legends, but it doesn't really focus on the library at all. It's just kind of like, you know, a piece of furniture that they take with them on the journey. A little bit of it is explained, a couple of stories are told, but it just wasn't as magical as I wanted it to be, and therefore it's a 3.5 stars. Also, another thing that Nicolee and I were kind of like, why is this even in here? There was like a little bit of a romance, and we were like,
Where did that come
why?
from?
Yeah, we were like, this doesn't make sense. So, you know, if you're gonna have it in there, like, go for it. You know, put that romance in there and let it be like a romance. I don't know, it just didn't make sense. I'm like, let's just talk about the history, because that's what it is, a history book. Last but not least, my color picker for last month was silver, so I ended up reading The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. I ended up giving this a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It was a very fun thriller. It's just about this nanny who at the beginning of the book is in prison because she has been accused of murder because one of the kids that she was watching for like a period of time ends up dead. And so you kind of go back through these letters to her solicitor to figure out what happened, and she's explaining the story to him. And so, I mean, it was a good time, it was a fun time, it was a creepy time. I was trying to figure out what was happening the whole time, you know, and then did what I thought was gonna happen? Yes. Which is why it's not like a full knockout 5 stars, because it didn't really surprise me that much. It was interesting though, because they're living in a smart house in Scotland. It's an isolated setting. So that was really creepy because you're kind of just like, whoa, well, this is weird. What happens if the whole house turns off? Then y'all are in Scotland by yourselves. You know what I mean? Like,
it was just a fun time.
Yeah, and it was interesting because obviously the smart house was built on like, on top of
a mountain.
No, not on top of a mountain, like on top of like graves and stuff. Like people had died in the area.
Of course.
Because it's, you know, Scotland, so it's got history. But kind of like the twists that happened, I was like, bro, why did we even put that in there? You know?
Yeah.
So it was a 4 star. It was a fun time. You know, not the greatest thriller I've ever read, but it was fun, as Ruth Ware does, you know. Immersed me into the story. So that's it. That's all I got.
So that concludes it then.
Yeah.
We had a good month.
We did.
I thought I read more, but I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Very succinct statement.
Yeah. Just like, period.
Period. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think my reading month has definitely been better. I feel like I mentioned this before in other videos, but last year I feel like I was reading so many 3 stars. I was like, bruh, get out of here.
Yeah, you just gotta be more, you know, determined. You're like, am I gonna enjoy this?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I did DNF 3 books last month, and I think that was great because that basically took out 3 bad star ratings, you know what I mean? Like, we can't help Den of Vipers because we knew we were going to be reading that book.
But it was fun.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a fun experience. That's the wrap up for February. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you read any of these books and, you know, have other opinions, let us know down in the comments. We love to see other people's perspectives and kind of like what you might have liked if we hated it or what you hated that we liked, you know?
All right, so again, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to join us here on YouTube. You know, we'd appreciate it. And hit the notification bell. See how I said that?
Ding, 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 ding.
Notification. Anyway, notification bell.
Yeah, we're Australian now.
Notification? Oh!
Because they shorten everything.
Notification bell. No,
oh my god, that was so southern. Notification bell.
Notification bell. Notified when we are dropping
more content.
More content for you all. So again, thank you for joining us. And
this is like a cockney. Hi.
And I'm not really sure what region I'm in, but I'm staying here. And again, thank you again. And until next time.
Boomerang.
Goodbye. Toodles.
Toodles.